Hello friends, I welcome you all to this class. This is mathematics class, and in this class I will show you how to find the derivative of the product of two or more functions using the product rule. Now if you have two or more functions expressed in product form, assuming that you have that y is equals to the product of two functions u and v. U and v, both of them are functions of x. So y is written as the product of two functions, function u and function what? V. And I want to find the derivative of this of y with respect to what? X. So which is denoted by dy dx. This derivative can be gotten by differentiating the first function, keeping the second function constant. So I will differentiate u with respect to x and I will keep what? V. Then the next thing I'm going to write is to put the addition sign plus. Then you are going to, this time around, you are going to keep that first one you differentiated. I will keep u and differentiate v, which I did not differentiate at first. So this is how you evaluate the derivative of product of two functions. Then if you want to find the derivative of product of two or more functions, it's still the same step you are going to follow to do that. You are going to do what? You differentiate the first function, you keep other functions constant. Then after that you put plus. Then you differentiate the other one you did not differentiate at first and keep others constant. So that's how you do that until you finish the differentiation. So we want to know how to find the derivative of two or more functions using these examples presented on the board here. So for the first question, we are going to start with the first question. Of course, what is given to us on the board, they told us to find the first derivative of those functions written down. The first function we are going to look at is given by f of x is equal to f of x is equal to x sine of x. So this is a function given to us. Of course, this is a function of x. That's why I call it f of x. F of x is equal to what? X sine x. So I want to find the derivative of this function with respect to what? X. So which is f prime of x, right? F prime of x. So assuming that I call this function y, then this place I wrote f prime of x, I will write dy dx. So whichever way, but I call the function function of x because it's a function of x. Then the derivative of this function with respect to x will be given by, so the first function, this first one I'll call it my u, and this second one I'll call it my what? V. So I'll write the formula. The formula says v du dx plus u dv dx, right? So this is the formula, the formula I wrote down here, v du dx plus u dv dx. I just wrote down, this is the well-known product rule, the product rule for differentiation. So this will be equal to, remember v is the second function. I have two functions. The first function is x, the second function is what? Sine function, sine x. So sine is my v and x is my what? U. So what do? I will keep my v. So v is sine, so I'll write sine x. I'm keeping v. Then I will multiply it by, because here we have multiplication, multiply by. So I have to what? Differentiate u with respect to x. What is your u? The first function. First function is u. So if I differentiate x, what will you get? Derivative of x using the power formula. What's the power on x? The power of x is 1. You bring it down. You write your function x raised to power what? 1. What do? You minus 1 from the power. So you have what? The result will be x raised to power 1 minus 1 is 0. And x raised to power 0 is what? 1. So the derivative of x is what? 1. So you multiply it by 1. So plus the next one will have what? U. What is your u? Of course, u is the first function. So let me just write it explicitly. We have u, we have what? V. So u is the first function, which is x. Then I'll write it multiply by, I have to find the derivative of v this with respect to x. So this time around I'm differentiating the first function. Sorry, I will differentiate the second function, which I kept constant earlier. So differentiating sine x, the derivative of sine will give you what? Positive cosine. While the derivative of cosine will give you what? Negative sine. So if I differentiate sine, I will get positive cosine. So I have positive cosine of x. cosine of x. So simplifying, sine x times multiply by 1, I have sine x. Then I have plus x times cos x, I have x cos x. So I have x cosine of x. So this gives me the derivative of this function. So writing the second question, question B, we are given that f of x is equals to what? Tan x sine x. So we have tan x sine x. So that's what is given to us in the second question. So we have the product of two functions, tan function and what? Sine function. Of course, the first function I'll call it my u, and the second function I'll call it my what? V. And writing the formula, I have that derivative of this function with respect to x, which I can write as f prime of x, will be what? What do I do using the formula? I will keep v, right? V, then I'll differentiate u, du dx. Then after that I'll put plus. This time around, what I'll keep is the first one, u. I'll differentiate what? The second one, v, dv dx. This is the formula. And you don't need to memorize it, the formula, before you write it down. With what I have said here, you can write it down on your own. So remembering that you have to differentiate what? The first one, keep the second one, and after that you differentiate the second one and keep the first one. So that's how I wrote the formula down. Then I'm keeping the second one, which is what? Sine x. Then I'll put multiplication symbol. Then I have to differentiate the first one. Differentiating the first one is what? Tan x. Derivative of tan will give you sec squared. So I have sec squared x. Then after that I have the addition symbol plus, then the next you have u. You are keeping the first one, which is tan x, which is my u. Then multiply by the derivative of the second function, derivative of sine. Derivative, if you differentiate sine, you get positive cosine x. That's what we'll have. Then simplifying further, I'll have sine multiply sec. I can write it short from sine x sec squared x. So plus tan multiply cos. So I can write it as, in short form, as tan x cos x. So this gives me the derivative of this function. We can create space and look at the question C. So for the C part, we have that f of x is equals to, let's write down what is given to us. This is the function given to us. I'm calling it f of x. Of course, it's a function of x. So this is the function given to us, right? So I have open bracket x plus, open bracket 4 plus x squared, close bracket, open bracket 1 plus x raised to the power 6. So we want to find the derivative of this function with respect to x. So I'll note it by f prime of x. So by the product rule, I'm going to name this first function what? U, and name the second function what? V. And the product rule says you keep the second function v and differentiate the first function. So I'm keeping v, I'm differentiating u with respect to x. But why? Because this is a function of x, right? Then plus, this time around, I'm going to keep this, the first one, u. I'll differentiate the second one, v, with respect to x. So this will be equal to, so we are keeping v, the second one, that's second, v is open bracket 1 plus x raised to the power 6. Then I'll put multiplication symbol, then I'll evaluate the derivative of u with respect to x. So this is our u. I'll differentiate it with respect to x. What do we have here? U is x, sorry, u is 4 plus x squared, right? If you differentiate 4, what will you get? 0, because 4 is a constant. It's a number, it's a constant. The derivative of a constant is 0. Then if you differentiate x squared, so if you differentiate x squared, what's the index? Index is 2. Then you write your x, write the power 2. You minus 1 from the power, right? Using the power rule of differentiation. So the 2 minus 1 is of course 1. So we have x raised to power 1. And x raised to power 1 is same thing as x. So we are done with this. We'll put addition symbol plus, we'll look at the other one. We'll have u. The second one will have u. U is the first function. U, that's open bracket 4 plus, open bracket 4 plus x raised to power 2. Then we have to put multiplication symbol, and according to our formula we have to differentiate v with respect to x. Of course, v is the second function, and we have that v is 1 plus x raised to power 6. 1 is a constant, derivative of 1 is what? 0. Then plus, you look at the derivative of x raised to power 6. What's the index of x? Using the index rule, we can evaluate the derivative. The index of x is 6. You write it down and write your what you have, x raised to power 6. What do you do after that? You minus 1 from the index. So of course 6 minus 1 will give you 5. So we have 6x raised to power 5 as the derivatives. We can simplify the results. We have open bracket 1 plus x raised to power 6 multiply 2x. I can write this as 2x open bracket 1 plus x raised to power 6. Right, after that, then we have open bracket 4 plus x raised to power 2 multiplying 6x raised to power 5, which can be written as 6x raised to power 5 open bracket 4 plus x raised to power 2. This gives us the derivative of this function. So see you in our upcoming class. Bye.